We've always been very committed to service. It's always been one of our core values. The whole point for me to do service is to make an impact. And then we funneled all of our, because we were kind of dabbling in all these different kind of service areas. And I said, okay, well, if we want to make an impact, how can we make the greatest impact? Making the greatest impact would require us to stay in our lane and do what we do best, which is real estate.
How can you help us, though, continue to help you? First, please subscribe to the channel. Like us. If you listen to the audio version, leave us a 5-star review wherever you can. If you see our posts, please share those posts, share the content, and link back to our law firm website, which helps us to continue our SEO marketing and grow our firm and help small business owners. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the show. I'm Mitch Beinhacker, your host. If you are listening to us on one of the podcast directories, leave us a 5-star review. If you're joining us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, support us. There's a commercial in the episode, so keep us growing on that channel. That's really what we're focusing on these days. And I always remind everybody who's listening or watching that this show is for entertainment purposes only. So please do not make decisions, whether it's in law or in real estate, because that's what we're talking about today, without consulting with local professionals. So welcome to the show, Betsy. So I know you're down in Florida. You said, where in Florida are you?
So Gainesville, University of Florida. Okay. Go Gators.
So my wife's a Seminole, so we might have a little fight.
Oh. Okay.
So it gets a little crazy in our house during football season. We want to talk about today about real estate and about the real estate business, but not necessarily about like advice for investing in real estate, where this is really focused on you.
Okay.
So maybe we can go back and talk about your background. I know you weren't in real estate your whole career.
No.
And we'll talk about what you're doing now, because you really become a big entrepreneur in the business.
Yeah. So I started my career after school in the Northeast. I came from a family of physicians, and I grew up working in the healthcare sector, volunteering along with my dad and my sisters. So I ended up in the pharmaceutical industry and worked for several different big pharma companies in corporate up in your neck of the woods, actually.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of headquarters. So
right.
Are you in sales, or are you on the corporate side?
No, corporate marketing.
Got it.
And loved it. Well, I loved the marketing. I didn't really honestly care about the products, which was a problem. But I did that for almost a decade, and then found myself involved in a corporate layoff. I was at the time working for a biotech company that was a one-product company that did not get FDA approval and was not going to get FDA approval. And so they laid off the entire commercial division, and decided that maybe the universe was telling me this may not be the direction in which I should be headed, because I knew I wasn't passionate about the products. And that was always an internal conflict with me.
Right.
And so I decided to move back home to Florida, where I was raised, and pursue real estate, which I had always dabbled in and enjoyed, and thought that I would really enjoy if it was a career. So I gave myself 2 years and got my real estate license, scared to death. I hadn't taken a formal exam in over a decade.
Time. Right.
Yeah. And, but anyway, I got my license, and in Florida, every state's different, but in Florida, you have to work under a broker for 2 years before you can even think about going out on your own.
Type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's to protect the consumer, which.
Yeah, no, that's a good look. A lot of industries should do that. So
yes. I mean, some
should do that, by the way.
Well, some states let you go out after a year, and even after 2 years. And I feel like I pick up things pretty quickly. I did not feel competent enough to go out on my own after 2 years. So I waited 4 years. Okay. From a legal, you're an attorney. From a legal perspective, I just did not feel that I knew enough to stay out of trouble, in those first 2 years. So after 4 years, I ended up getting my broker license, and really just had no vision. It was really just, I don't like to work for other people. I wanted to be more creative. On the marketing side, I like to see quicker turnarounds. And so it was from that perspective that I let myself just go out on my own, and I wasn't looking to build anything.
But you were basically a salesperson, right? So you hadn't done that before. So
well, I did for 4 years. I mean, when I was
but I mean before the real estate.
Oh yeah,
so you've done it as kind of like an apprentice, or having somebody helping you, but still, right? It was the first foray into sales.
Well, there's a belief that everyone's in sales, but
I agree with that. Yeah. Whether they like it or not, and they're honest with themselves, we're all selling. But
right. And I had dabbled, I feel like I my mother said I came out of her wound, as an entrepreneur. And I have always dabbled in that little things, but have always had that angle. And so it did not scare me to go out on my own.
Okay.
So anyway, so I did that for 4 years, got my broker license. And then for the next couple of years, I was working out of my garage, and just randomly agents in the community would ask if they could hang their shingle under my name, because you have to do that for
you can do that. Oh, okay.
So I would say, sure, I don't offer anything other than the name, but you're welcome to hang your license with me. But over time, it got to be, I had 6 to 8 agents. I had hired an assistant. We're still working out of my house. I'm trying to raise my kids. It got to be very unmanageable. And so I had the wherewithal to hire a coach, which was the best thing I ever did. But I wish I had done it from day one.
A business coach, somebody that knew business?
Real estate coach.
Okay.
Yeah. A real estate coach in New York City.
Oh.
And first thing he said is, Betsy, you got to go big or go home. And I said, well, I'm already home. Let's go big.
Right.
And so we went big. And so he helped
basically
out of my garage. Yeah. Well, actually, the next week I ended up purchasing office space down the road.
Okay.
Moved out of the garage, moved everybody into the office. And then with the help of my coach, we built a plan to grow a brokerage. So that's kind of how it all really started. And I loved it, because I get bored a lot of entrepreneurs, we get bored very easily.
Sure. Right.
I was starting to get tired of being in production. And so this piece of the business was very interesting to me. Yeah. And so I started to grow the business. Okay. And then,
but you were doing your own sales, I assume, on top of,
yeah,
I guess it's like New Jersey, right? You have to have there's a brokerage, and that's a different license, right? Or you can just be an agent, a realtor. Right. And then you have to be affiliated with some sort of a brokerage.
Correct.
You went right for the brokerage.
Correct.
Right. Which is both, right? You can sell and you can have people work for you.
And I did sell for years. And I think most people end up doing that, because it's hard to make a living at the beginning just on agent.
You're just making bits off of people, of course.
Yes. And so I stayed in production for almost a decade. And it's also very fearful to let it go, because you think it's a limiting belief, but you think that you're going to lose a lot of business when people realize they're not going to work directly with you.
Right, of course.
Right?
It's like the lawyer who says, work with all the associates now.
Correct.
Like, but we want to work with you, Betsy. We want you to take us out and deal with us and whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway, over time, I started building a team so that I could get myself out of production. Okay. And so now I have a team so I'm totally out of production. I've been out of production for several years, because I have a great team. But then I also have independent agents in the brokerage that have built their own name for themselves, but want to be under my umbrella.
Got it. They didn't want to be brokers. They're under your brokerage, but they're operating as like, the Bine Hacker Group or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I have that. And then I expanded. So I'm in Gainesville. And then I said, okay, well, let's, when you think about ways to expand, you can expand geographically or vertically. So I expanded to Ocala, which is the next big city south. I expanded north, the next big city north, Lake City. Then I expanded west and east to Cedar Key to St. Augustine. So coast to coast.
Expanded meaning you opened offices there?
So I did. I opened offices in Ocala and in St. Augustine. I recruited agents in a lot of other counties as well.
Okay.
Look, because a lot of agents work out of their homes and cars.
Right, of course. But you got to feed the office that you're opening up. So you need to find people. Right. Okay.
Right. So I did that. And then once I did that, I got, not bored, but I'm always looking for the next thing. And so then I said, okay, well, let's expand vertically. Where else, what else do our customers?
Explain to me what vertical expansion would mean.
So for me, that means you look at your customer and you look at what products and services did they need before they got to you, and what do they need after they use your services?
Okay, so the life cycle of the client expanded.
Right. And so you could do before they need a lender, right? You got to have money to get the house. You got to hire a moving company. You have to have insurance.
Title insurance.
Right. And house insurance. So there's a lot of my colleagues now have opened up traditional insurance brokerages as well. So I opened up title,
Okay.
I opened up mortgage. I opened up property management because a lot of times sellers, they don't know that they're not sure they want to list, or they tried to list, it didn't sell. Then they want to put it into the rental market.
Right.
Or we have buyers that are investors.
Right.
So we opened up a property management company.
Got it. Okay.
So that's, so you're kind of filling the pipeline vertically for your customer.
Sense. Okay.
I did not open up.
You had to get licenses for some of that stuff, like title insurance, right? You had to take a test.
Yeah. Well, so for mortgage, I did. I became because I like to know what I'm doing. Like, I don't like to.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. You don't have to do it, but you want to know what it is and how it works. Sure.
Exactly. And so I got my, my mortgage origination license, and then, I did originate some loans because I like to know how to do it, just so I understand. And then for that one, I bought into a franchise system. And at least they gave me the systems and processes. And then I hired LOs to service that business. On the title side, I did end up starting a title company the first go around with, we're not in an attorney state like New York. I don't know if New Jersey is attorney state, but we're not. But I did hire a real estate attorney to open up the title company with me. That did not go well. I exited that relationship, and then I did a JV with a company that helped me get the title up and running. So I didn't have to get any licenses for that.
Oh, you didn't have to. Okay. Yeah. Cause New Jersey attorneys have been pushed out of the title business about 20 years ago. So we can't we can have a title agency, but we can't then work on the same transactions. I have a lot of friends down in Florida who have a title license, and they do title work, and they do the closings.
Right. We can do it here.
Right.
Yeah. So then I did that. And then the property management, yes, you need the license for that. And then we opened up. So then the last piece of the puzzle was, if I want to grow, how do I identify the talent?
Okay.
And how do I service my agents? Because my agents are my top clients.
Right. Sure.
And so every 2 years, they need continuing education.
Okay. And
a lot of who we were hiring were our really very nice and great customers who had such a great experience. They wanted to get into real estate. So they needed to get licensed.
Oh,
so I opened up
customers who literally you helped them buy property, and they're like, I'd like to do this. Can I come work with you?
Yes. And they're our best agents. Yeah, wow. And so I opened up a real estate school.
A school?
Yeah. So because they're in our office for 7 days, 8 days, actually. It's an 8-day class to get their license. We know everybody we want. But
that's all approved by the state. Like, you file stuff with the state, and then they give you the approval to offer not CLE, but CE and also initial licensing and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. And that's another license. So I am a licensed real estate instructor.
Got it.
And I used to teach the classes. That's just my model. I like to get my feet wet, and then I
pass it on.
Offboard. Yeah.
But move it
offboard it.
Right. Offboard is good.
Yeah. So that's kind of, to answer your question, short story long, that's how I got to where I am today.
Okay. So that's a really good start, because I talk a lot about the lack of vision and planning, and, that people do, and it causes them to struggle and fail in business. And I know you said at the beginning that you really didn't know, you wanted to do this, but they were laying you off, but it sounds to me like, and maybe the coach was a big help to that, right? There was a lot of strategic business planning. You probably have multiple versions of business plans and things that you've written down and created and sketched out. And because you don't get to where you are, you and I both know this, people listening, by just winging it, right? Yeah. So, and you did say that's kind of like in your DNA a little bit, right? Did you find, what was that experience? What kind of problems did you avoid by doing that? Or, what happened with that whole plan? Because you had a lot of moving parts. You still have a lot of companies. You have a lot of things going on. You have a little bit of an empire. That does not take you coming in every day and doing it yourself. You would fail. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think it was as chaotic as it may seem, because it was, I've been in it 20 years.
Right.
So I wasn't doing
your journey, right?
It's a 20-year journey. And I don't think I was doing I took things one at a time. It wasn't like I was trying to do five companies at once. I added one, stabilized it, added another, stabilized it.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like it was chaotic. And honestly, it wasn't like day one, I knew these 5 companies were going to be.
Right.
It was,
No,
I knew what was coming next.
Yeah. That's
And then
what
it was like, I
strategic
knew
planning's about, right? You get to
right,
a new crossroad and you say,
right,
where can we go from here?
right. I should add, because it's the most important one. I started a nonprofit,
I
and
saw
that,
that in your
yeah.
CV. Yeah.
And that I felt like I came full circle,
Was at
because
the end, like that was the
it
last,
was
most recent thing you did?
it was the
Close to it?
most recent one. We've always been very committed to service. It's always been one of our core values, but several years ago we changed that core value to impact, because the whole point for me to do service is to make an impact.
Okay.
And so, and then we funneled all of because we were kind of dabbling in all these different kind of service areas. And I said, okay, well, if we want to make an impact, how can we make the greatest impact? And I felt like making the greatest impact would require us to stay in our lane and do what we do best, which is real estate.
Right.
So we partnered with Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, sure.
And we now raise money and build homes along with Habitat to help address, we have a tremendous burden we are the highest cost burden county in the state of Florida, meaning that we have the largest discrepancy between median household income and median housing prices.
So it's hard when you're
very difficult to get into a home.
Right.
And we have people that when you think of affordable housing, you don't think of these people, but they are struggling to get into affordable housing. Right. So and I love it because
the affordable housing is really not affordable is what it comes down to.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so we're servicing a population doing what we do best that needs our services, but cannot use them through the traditional front door. And so I just felt like that was in my heart. It just completed what I was trying to build. And we're giving back to the community that has been so generous to us and so supportive of us.
So did you actually set up a 501c3 separate organization? Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Not just a partnership and said this is our directive or something like that?
No, 501c3. We've got an active board. We've got an executive director. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. So you raise money for other organizations too that are related to your mission statement?
No, not really. It's that, and then we do our own projects on the side that address affordable housing. Yeah.
Interesting. I think that there's something you said before about personnel, and I think people struggle with it, like finding the right people to run your organization. And I think you mentioned it before too, is that it's hard to let go. Like that's the biggest problem that business owners have, right? Is that they're not really business owners. They're just employed by a company they happen to own, right? They can't walk away. Right. They can't take a vacation. Right. They don't have people that they even feel comfortable with or reye on and say, hey, I know that, whatever division you want to choose, right, is run by Bob or Susan or whatever. They know what they're doing. And I, so how do you deal with that? I find that people are very, finding good people is hard. And then evaluating people is hard. Like we're very emotional and we make bad decisions. So how did you deal with that?
Well, I mean, that took some time, but what was instrumental for me, and it became that process became a lot more seamless when I stayed true to my core values and I hired and I rehome by my core values. That kind of takes the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
And so we try to screen for that in our interview process to make sure that we are hiring people whose innate core values match ours. And then every time we've had to rehome somebody, it is because there's been a misalignment in one of those core values.
What does rehome mean?
Rehome means that we recognize that they are not a good fit for us. They are great people, but they are not a good fit for us in our current organization. And we will do everything we can to help you find a landing place that's a better fit for you.
Yeah, so that is a very supportive and interesting approach to firing somebody. Basically, that's what you're doing. And instead of saying, good luck. We can't use you.
Mhm.
You're helping them find a new
Mhm.
home, right? Is that why you
Mhm.
call them rehoming?
Right.
Maybe you're getting your calendaring from one software and you're invoicing from another. Evenoo is a platform that we use as one of our sponsors to run our entire business. And there's other features like auto payments and integrations with QuickBooks. Visit evenoo.com, EVONUE.com to learn more. There's also a link in the show notes. And be sure to tell them that the Accidental Entrepreneur referred you. This podcast is brought to you by our affiliate sponsor, iEmployee. iEmployee is a virtual assistant service that hires almost anyone for any role in your company right out of the Philippines. Most roles range from $7 to $9 an hour for highly skilled and experienced VAs. And whether you need an executive assistant, social media manager, video editor, customer service, sales, you name it, they have it. We use iEmployee for our VA services, from editing and promoting the podcast to all the PR and promotion of our law firm. iEmployee acts as a virtual field supervisor on the back end with live video monitoring and reports on a daily basis with screenshots of your VA's workday, and along with complete HR and payroll duties. No more paying for overpriced and underqualified workers. There's a link in the show notes to get a 1-week free trial, and I encourage you to take advantage of it.
And we're in the homing business.
Right. Well, that's true. Unless you're in, right. It's not all homes, but
that's
mostly,
truly
right?
what we're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's truly what we're doing. And so, I mean, to me, firing is such a harsh word.
Yeah,
It's a rejection, and it's
Right.
not. It's just like, and we have maintained great relationships with a lot of people that have left us because we would do it like for our own children if they weren't a good
Right.
fit, right? So we try to treat people like that and give them a soft place to land.
Well, isn't that what is missing in corporate America? Like companies don't exist without the people, and then they act like they don't need the people anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
they are
on my soapbox, but you know what I mean? Like,
I am very well aware that my number one customer are my staff and my agents.
Yeah, you're top down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also recognize that the experience that the customer has, the ultimate buyer,
right,
has to flow down. But obviously it's built into your mission statement and your belief as to how you treat people, and that's one of the things that makes you successful, right? Because you can't get better word of mouth than that. And people say, well, I don't know if you're a good fit with Betsy's company or whatever, but I know that she cares and she's always going to, do the right thing. So I guess then when somebody is getting through the process of becoming a broker, an agent, or joining the company or whatever, you've already screened for those characteristics, or right. So, because I think that is, you mentioned about the emotional part of it. That's where everybody makes the mistake. Right. They meet you and we hit it off.
Right.
And you're like, I met this guy. He's great. He's going to be wonderful for the company. And little do you know,
right,
I don't have the skills, the values, whatever it is.
Right.
And it just is a shit show. I hate to use that word, but yeah. What along the way, do you remember, like, what are some of the challenges that you faced? And obviously you said you were very good and strategic where you built one piece, and then obviously it does get easier because you get better at the model. So what were some of the problems that you ran into along the way that you overcame?
Well, I think the one big one. So, the first thing is letting go of being in production, right? Yeah. In this industry. But then the second giant leap was letting go of managing the people in your company. Okay. So, and understanding that you're not going to have a close one-on-one relationship with everybody,
right?
Only with your management team,
sure,
right? And because a lot of my agents had come to my brokerage because of me and my relationship with them,
and that wasn't going to always continue,
right? And I did lose some great agents and friends. I mean, we're still friends, but I lost them as agents because they didn't want somebody between me and them.
They wanted you to be accessible to them all the
yes,
time.
They wanted to
be successful and do that.
Right. And I get it, because that's what, when they were hired, that was what they saw.
Right.
But over the years that changed, and they wanted a hands-on broker that they saw in the office 7 days or 5 days a week, 9 to 5, could call for anything. And that just was changing.
Right. Because that doesn't lead to success, really.
You just can't grow. Right. And so I wasn't willing to limit and cap my growth for their needs. But it was very difficult for me because I'm an
Because you sound
empath.
like the kind of person that you want to be the person that helps, right? You want
Right,
to always be there for all these people that you brought in, and it's hard to do that.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I face that too. It's difficult, but ultimately, if you want to be as successful as you are, and you want to keep helping people, because that's ultimately right.
yeah,
Success comes with, I
yeah,
think, following your core values, right?
right,
Which you can't just do it and be available to the
right,
5 people that want your attention on a daily
right.
basis. It's just not realistic.
Yeah. So that was something that I encountered and went through.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, definitely that was difficult. And then I think the second big hurdle was I did not have the systems and processes that you would think I had in place
Right.
for a long time.
Okay.
And so I finally researched and landed on a platform. We run now our companies on a platform called EOS. Are you familiar with
Sure.
EOS?
Traction. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
we run all of our companies on that.
Okay.
And that was another huge adjustment for people because they weren't used to the structure and the accountability
Right.
that's in
Accountability is
place.
big on
Yes.
people. Yeah.
So we lost another group of people when we implemented that, but that gave us the foundation to really grow. But so those were the two big pain points I would say when I look at the history of my growth.
How did you find EOS? Did you meet a local? Because we have some guys up here who are EOS. I don't know what the word
Certified.
is. Certified. Yeah.
Yeah. Our implementer was a guy from Northern New York.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got into EOS. I mean, I found it through books that I've read and
Right. I read the book originally. That was
And then you can self-implement, but again, I really know to stay in my lane. I love the book Who Not How. I don't know if you've read that book, but
I've heard of it, but
excellent book. But it's basically stay in your lane and hire people who know what they're doing for the other things.
Right.
And so we did hire an implementer for the first year. So he really helped us because I knew it was going to be a huge transition for us and culture wise. And then, so we used him for the first year. I brought in a operator. I'm the visionary. I brought in an operator and he really now maintains and runs EOS across all of our companies for us.
He's like the COO for EOS.
He is correct.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, what did you say the name of the book was?
Who Not How.
All right. I'm going to write that down because I like to read books.
Okay. Game changer for your personal and your professional life.
I think that if people would take the approach, which I guess you did, right? That it's not, do I need somebody to implement this and to take it over or to be the person or, oh, there's a dog next to you.
This is Charles.
Or how do I? Like, I think it's
correct.
Right?
Who do I need? It's never
right. And how do I get there? Not
right.
if.
And
right?
that's the whole notion of the book. It's like we get so caught up in the how. Don't even think about the how. Your first question should be, who am I going to bring in to do this for me?
Right. And how do I do it financially? How do I equip the business? I also think that it's very interesting that you kind of had the approach. I don't know how early on in the process that, I can't be the person who is sweeping the floors every day.
Yeah.
Maybe in the garage you felt that way. Once you're out, you're like, if we're going to build a company and I'm going to be at the helm, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Jeff Bezos doesn't walk around the warehouse anymore.
Right.
But he did at the beginning. So, So when did that become evident? Did you feel that way always from the beginning or?
Pretty early on, I was a single mom. My girls were really young when I started this. So I didn't have the bandwidth to do everything. Yeah. So I think fairly early on, I recognized that I wasn't going to be able to.
Delegation was the only way you're going to be successful.
Right.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you still work with your coach? Not the EOS guy, but your coach?
I don't. I mean, we are still friends and I'll call him occasionally, but I ended up so we worked together for about 10 years. And then after that, what I thought was, I always have a coach, but instead of a real estate specific coach, because I now have multiple businesses, I really wanted a business coach and not a real estate. Yeah. So I'm in a different coaching program that's more entrepreneurial and across all different industries. And it's it's national, and I fly up to Chicago every quarter for coaching. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. My most successful clients are all have coaches. Some of them coach people too, but
Yeah. I used to coach people. That's one I did not, oddly, I did not enjoy that.
well, that's a one. There's no way to grow out of that. You gotta. If you're the therapist, you can't say, "Oh, by the way, now Betsy, we're going to send you over to the other room." You're like, "What? You're my therapist. What are you
Right.
doing?"
I just didn't.
You're
I didn't
trapped.
enjoy. I like to see change, and when I didn't see the change I wanted to see in
Right.
somebody,
Not doing whatever you tell.
right? I got really frustrated. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah. No patience for that.
not for me.
Yeah. You try and help the best way that you can.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that it's interesting because if you look at what's the word, like the four major parts of any kind of organization, right? There's your product or service, which is obviously, I don't know, you could argue whether it's selling homes or homes. I don't know if it's a product or a service. There's the people, which I think you've gotten pretty good at mastering, right? There's the marketing. So on the marketing side, how do you operate that, right? Because you're looking for agents, but you also want to help your agents to get business. And so how do you run the whole marketing side of what you do in terms of helping who you consider to be your customers?
Yeah. So we have we have the avatar for the agents, and we have an avatar for our ideal clients, buyers and sellers.
Yep.
And then we have on the agent side, that's really it's more recruiting for us. And so we're now utilizing AI for that. And
To recruit them, find these people.
and then once they're teed up, then they get through a funnel with our sales folks and our onboarding, and then nurtured and then converted, hopefully. Then the traditional marketing is for the external customer, the buyers
Right.
and the sellers.
Make it easier for the agent to do business, right?
Yeah. And we just did this. We had an in-house marketing department with all the different functions, and we kind of cleaned house, and we've now moved it to virtual. And we only have one marketing person in-house right now, and we're trying that. I think that's the way that industry is moving anyway, especially with AI.
I mean, there's no reason to have a marketing person sitting in your office, right? I mean, what?
It's nice for real estate. It's nice because agents will come in and say, I want to market myself. How do I do this? Or help me with this? Or, so it is nice to have somebody physically sitting in the office, but we didn't need a staff. We need one person
To kind of marshal everything.
Yeah.
And deal with these people.
Yeah. And that person manages the virtual team.
The virtual people, right.
Yeah.
Now, is the virtual through I'm always curious as to people how manage their payroll. Is it through a service? So is there a virtual service that you use so you pay the company and then they deal with it? Or you have a payroll where you got to have, I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
People in other states, and then you literally have to pay them.
Well, ours are all overseas. Okay. And I'm trying to think, because we use a variety of different VAs for different functions. So I'm not sure if this group is the one we have contracted directly. I believe this is, we have contracted directly with each VA on the marketing side. On the ISA side, where we do a lot of lead gen, we also use VAs, but I believe that is a centralized VA company in another country, and they manage the
people. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always find it interesting as to how that's developing for different industries, you know? What do you think is the more challenging things on the financial side? Like that's probably the fourth part of right, the business plan. And that's the part that all the right brain entrepreneurs avoid dealing with. I'm sure you don't avoid dealing with it, but people don't. They don't know their numbers. They don't know exactly how many houses they got to sell and this and that, whatever.
I mean, I think that's actually, that is, I think, a strength of mine, and it's something that I enjoy looking at. And, very early on, I was raised in a debt-free home, and that was just, ingrained in me. I teach my agents how to live a debt-free life. So that's a huge relief. So in terms of finances, we've never taken on a penny of debt. We never will. So I am very cautious of the numbers and look at them. We know exactly when we need to hit things. We make adjustments. We have a profitability metric that, it's, I don't know if you've ever read that book, Profit First. It's a great
Yeah,
book.
of course. I
But
love Mike. He was on the show.
okay, yeah. So
From
great book, but
here in New Jersey. Yeah.
pay yourself first.
Yeah.
So that's how we address that. So we don't get into trouble.
It's interesting because I've been practicing law for 33 years, and that's like people have trouble with their business and they come to me and I said, well, let's take a look at your business plan, your financials. And they're like, it's like crickets. I mean, they just don't, I think a lot of people are afraid. You said it's a relief to you, but I think people are like afraid to really know because they don't think the answer is going to be good, whatever it is, especially if they're coming to me, right? Because they're struggling and not because, they might be coming to me because things are good and they need legal help. But yeah, but often it's because, something's wrong and they don't know what it is and they don't pay attention to that stuff. And then it becomes a problem.
Yeah. Well, we have metrics for everything and we know what our break even is. And we make adjustments immediately when we see something's off.
There's probably a book in there somewhere, all the stuff that you do and how you do it. Are you working on a book?
But I just released a book, but it's not on real estate. It's on
broader than that.
Something else. Huh?
Oh, it has nothing to do with business?
It does. It's so the book is called Breaking Boxes.
Okay.
Dismantling the metaphorical boxes that bind us. So it's about
love it.
The boxes that we find ourselves in, whether it's through the opinions and beliefs and attitudes of our family of origin, our industry, our gender. So it crosses so many different things. A lot of times when I tell people I wrote a book, they think it's about how to build a real estate enterprise. And it's not. It's about how we deal with our lives and how we live authentic lives.
What made you write that?
Because about 10 years ago, I was finding myself increasingly unsettled, despite on paper looking very successful. And I was frustrated by that. I didn't feel, for a while, I didn't even feel like I had the right to be unhappy because I know I have privilege, but I was unhappy. And so through a variety of different modalities and explorations, I realized the source of my unhappiness was coming from feeling confined by these boxes and living this life that I felt like was being orchestrated by what society and
it's like imposed on you.
Right. And not what I even, I compare it to, have you seen the Truman Show?
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey, it's like I was Jim Carrey, oblivious to the fact that I was playing out my life on a set orchestrated by others. And so that's why I wrote the book, because I have all these stories about my life. And when I shared those stories with others, they're like, oh my gosh, this is what happened to me. How do I get myself out of these boxes that no longer serve me? So that's what the book is about.
I guess it's natural, right? Because we're born blank slates and we get influenced by people. It's not until we're adults we're like, why do I do that? Oh, because they forced me to do that or made my decision or, wherever. Yeah. Some days, plenty of days, I wonder why I'm in law. I'm in law because, my grandmother told me to go to law school. I don't know. I didn't have a big grand plan. It's hard. It's difficult. Okay. So what is the next step? Is there a next step? Is there an exit? Is there what are you doing?
So it's the first time where it's like, I don't have something tangible that I know I'm going after. But what I do know, everything I've done has been fairly independent. And so now I'm in this coaching system platform that's, it's actually international, and we're very focused on collaboration. And so I do feel like my next move will be an entrepreneurial pursuit, probably in the real estate space, but much more collaboration from people in other areas of the country and world. And I've never done that. And that excites me. So something much bigger that will affect our industry, not just North Central Florida.
You have no idea what that looks like?
No idea. I mean, I'm open to it, but I mean, because you can see I can see some pain points in our industry. And that's where usually great solutions come from, are the pain points. And so I feel like I'm now in a group that can help me resolve those pain points with expertise that I don't have.
So it's some sort of a organization that would focus on something wrong in the real estate?
Probably a service or a product that will
Like a
address
web-based
something.
product or a system or
Yeah.
some sort of a tool or
Yeah.
interesting. All right. Now you're getting to get into tech.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? You'll be a
Mm-hmm.
tech entrepreneur next.
Yeah.
You said you've never raised any money for or borrowed any money for the business. Never?
Never.
Never. Because, I mean, look, you're in the real estate business. Leverage is the
I
key
know.
to success in real estate.
And I do that. I
Doesn't mean
don't,
you should leverage your business. I'm just saying.
when every time I do my tax returns, they're like, why don't, why?
Right. Why don't we have more
I
deductions?
buy things in cash and they think it's crazy, but I know my peace of mind is worth so much to me. And so I'm totally fine knowing that, yes, I could have made more, but I don't lose sleep at night.
Yeah, no, that's I do a lot of tax planning for business owners, and some of them are, planning in the gray. I mean, that's what tax planning is all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell clients, listen, you can save a lot of money doing this. You could do that and get tax opinions and everything. But if I drive by your house at 3:00 in the morning and you're walking around the living room because you can't sleep at night, then it's not something that you should be doing.
Yeah.
Just because you're saving money in taxes.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you live by your principles. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit off the topic of you, but what's going on with like the housing market in Florida? Like New Jersey is nuts. I do a lot of closing, do a lot of fair amount of work. People put their house up, they get 20 offers in a day. There's no inventory.
Wow. Okay. Not in Florida. Florida's the opposite. No. And, I was just looking at a list of the top like 30, cities with declining markets, and like 6 of them were in Florida.
Oh.
Not Gainesville, where I am. The university has always protected us a bit from national trends, but no. So inventories are climbing, prices are stabilizing, still appreciating in our market about 2%. But I mean, average days on the market right now is 83 days.
Oh, that's pretty long.
Yeah, and a quarter of the homes have at least one price reduction before they sell.
Okay,
but still considered overall a seller's market, but at the higher price points, it's not.
Right.
Luxury home market is
softer, sure.
Yeah.
No, houses will go for bidding wars here. They buy them sight unseen,
Wow.
no inspections. They waive appraisal contingencies.
Nice.
Because the sellers are like, well, if you don't want to buy it, we'll sell it to the next person.
Yeah.
It gets a little crazy.
We had that during COVID because everyone was flocking to Florida.
Right.
But then we've gotten out of that. So yeah.
And you any trends that you see, like what do you anticipate going to happen in the next?
Well, buyers, I do feel like buyers, at least in our state, because for a while, no, but they realize we're not going to lower interest rates. So they realize this is the new normal. That took a long time.
Right. People thought they're going to go back to 3%.
Right.
It's not happening.
So I feel like, okay, but what's happened is people can't afford what they used to be able to afford. Yeah. So we are definitely seeing much more activity in the non-city centers, further out, smaller houses, multi-generational living, kids living with their parents till they're 30, people buying homes together and, multiple owners in a home. So we're just seeing things like that much more so than we ever have.
What do you think about the rental market? Up here, I see developers in a town where I grew up where they're just homeowners, right? There's nothing but homeowners putting up high-rise buildings in these suburbs of New York City where rents are as much as, I guess maybe people don't have the down payments. Rents for a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment is as much as renting like a whole home.
Yeah. Same here.
So do you think like the younger generations, I have 3 kids, one just graduated, the other one's working, the other one's in college. I mean, I see this future as like the American dream is not like owning a home.
It's not. They value convenience and flexibility. And there is a belief out there that these generations, my children too, they're not going to have the homestead.
Right.
They're going to jump from home, like place to place to place. They don't want ties. And what does that do to traditional families and things like that? But I do see that coming.
Yeah.
The
see a lot
emphasis on travel and flexibility, and now so many jobs. I mean, it's so funny because anytime we post for a job, unless we explicitly state it, everybody assumes the job is remote.
Right.
And I mean, 10 years ago, nobody assumed that.
No.
And they're offended when you tell them, no, we actually need you in our office.
Right.
And it really does hurt our recruiting ability when we're looking for people, because most people assume they can work out of their homes anywhere they want.
Right.
And
absolutely.
so many people now are living abroad, but working here, but living abroad.
Yeah.
So they don't want a house, you know?
Right.
And I'm seeing the trend is, even when they do buy the house, it's on a much smaller property and the house sizes are getting smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. The weird thing is my town is like a McMansion town. Like they tear down these small homes, they put up these enormous homes. But I guess people coming from the city paying $2.4 million for a home that I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Relative to New York City and the boroughs, looks cheap.
Yeah.
You know, because they would be paying a lot more money. The prices up here are just nuts. And I think a lot of the younger generation, like, you can't, if you're coming out of college and you want to rent an apartment in New York City, let's say, you just need a bedroom, you will probably be sharing it with 3 people. I mean, the prices are ridiculous. They'll put up a wall that's just tiny.
Yeah.
And you'll still be paying $2,500 or $3,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just share with people 1 bathroom. I mean, just, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how the kids do it. You try and find a deal or live with, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of reason why I think people stay home, are going to be staying home more and more. But, I guess just like everything, you'll adjust, right? I mean, whatever it is you're selling or renting or doing, you get into other things. I will have to see what happens. I've met people on the show who are in, they're trying to build housing that is affordable from the standpoint of reducing the cost of building so they could sell it at a lower price point.
Right.
So, can I see your dog?
This is Charles. Every time I'm on a podcast, he likes to join.
Of course.
It's Charles.
Yeah, we had 2 little dogs. We had to put them down recently. So my wife's like, "We're time to get a new dog." I'm like, "I don't want to get another dog. It's a lot."
It is a lot.
It's a lot. All right. I'm going to say, what advice do you have for people? You've given a lot of advice in terms of sharing how you have built your business. But if someone's starting out, maybe not just even in real estate, what do you say? Well, like, what's the 1 or 2 things that they should focus on just as they get started?
I would definitely say, get a mentor. If not a coach, if you can't afford a coach, get a mentor.
I agree.
Absolutely. Get 2. I like to have a mentor that's a couple of steps ahead of me, and then a mentor that's way ahead of me. So that I would do that from day 1. And then I would definitely, unlike me, have a plan. I feel like I could have gotten further had I laid out my map further quicker. Yeah. Had I had a map, but I really didn't. I was just, when I went out on my own, I just wanted to go out on my own. And it just kind of very gradually, and I liked it slowly, but it probably would have helped me if I had had a plan.
It's funny that you said it, because listening to you for 45 minutes, it sounded like you had a very big plan. Like, you don't get there you didn't get to where you are by accident. I don't know. Could you have had a plan then? Like, did you know enough?
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, because, that's true.
And whatever the plan was, I always say, like, strategic planning, you can't go out more than 36 months because you're going to be wrong. Everything's going to change. So you could have laid out a 10 or 20-year plan, or I don't know, whatever you would do. It would change within 6 months.
Yeah, that's true.
So it probably was, I think the strategic plan of, like, all right, we're going to build this one piece and then get good at it.
Yeah.
And learn and whatever. Then when you do the next piece, whatever you decide that to be, you obviously have experience for, right?
Yeah.
And it grows, and then it becomes easier and better and bigger. And, like you said, there were times where you had to make decisions that some people didn't agree with or didn't like. And they said, well, we're going to go our own direction. But it worked for you. So you probably were more strategic than you realize. Maybe. So, all right. So we had some good things for today. So we mentioned about your book, Breaking Boxes.
Breaking Boxes, Dismantling the Metaphorical Boxes That Bind Us.
Is it on Amazon?
Amazon and all the online book retailers. Okay. And my website, betsypepine.com. It's on there too.
Breaking Boxes. And you mentioned Who Not How, and you mentioned EOS, which I'm always big fan of.
Traction is the book.
Traction is the book. The Wickham or
Yep, Gino Wickman.
Gino Wickham, right. Anything else you recommend to people? I
Yes.
love the advisory thing, by the way, mentors. My father passed away about 2, 3 years ago now. When I first got started coming out of law school, I was kind of in sales because I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was working for different companies doing stuff. And he said, have coffee with a successful person every month for 18 months and you will learn a lifetime. And I did that,
That's awesome.
So
And
yeah,
I think people are fearful of that, but people want to help people that want to be helped.
people do want to help. You
They
ask for
really
help,
do.
they're all in.
Yeah.
It's not like you're asking for some proprietary information that they're going to
Right.
be able. Yeah. And the one person that says, no, you don't need that person. You'll
Yeah.
find other people. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also big on advisory boards. Like I think as you build your company, you should have a couple people that you meet with on a quarterly basis to help each other. That's why I like Tab, Tab, the advisory board. Maybe they don't have them down there. It's like a coaching organization, but they put together like-minded advisory boards. So you might sit on an advisory board with other real estate professionals or other people that have, I don't know, maybe you're a plumber. So they're all, trades people.
Yeah.
You meet once a quarter and they share.
Okay.
thoughts.
We
And
have
if you have a
Vistage.
problem,
Is it Vistage?
it's very similar to Vistage.
Okay, we have Vistage.
Yeah, Vistage is a little bit, yeah, but very similar type
Okay.
of platform. All right, well, I can't thank you enough for spending time with me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You're probably my not most successful real estate professional I've had on, but the most business minded. I'm not going to draw a conclusion about other people's success. I have no idea. But most people come on, they're investors and they build homes and they flip and they do this and that. But you really went the business route. So I hope people will listen to this and learn not just about what you do, but how you did it. I mean, that's really the key to people's success. And maybe they'll start listening to me to be more strategic and plan things and whatever. So, so thanks for coming on the show on a Friday morning. We're both on the East Coast. And enjoy the weekend. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Betsy. In addition to being a podcast host, I'm also a small business attorney, mostly providing legal services in New York and New Jersey. With over 3 decades of experience, we can handle most transactional issues. So if you're watching the show and you encounter some sort of legal issue, reach out to us and visit our website, mindhackerlaw.com. Thanks for tuning into the show and for continuing to support us.